Well, welcome back DIY car guys, Tyler here, and what do I have for you today? Well, I have a carburetor that is brand new that I have completely disassembled like Johnny 5. I know I kind of dated myself there a little bit.
No disassemble!
Where are you going?
But I wanted to see what these inexpensive Brawler carburetors were all about because they are pretty darn cheap. You get billet base plate, you get jet extensions, you get the floats for the jet extensions, and you get fully adjustable billet metering blocks. But there is a catch. There's a couple of things that I found in this that you definitely want to look over before you bolt it onto your car. And I know in this thing right here, it says it's been completely professional flow tested. Whatever. I'm going to show you guys why. If you're wondering, I don't understand why my carburetor is flooding, what's going on, it's brand new. I'll show you why in this video right here while we do the autopsy of the Brawler carburetor. That's going to go on my 400 cubic inch small block Chevy, and this is a 950 CFM unit. Wanna go out, girl? Wanna go out, Molly? Wanna get him? Jesus. All right, before we get started, I need to make sure that I'm hydrated. I don't know why I've never thought about shooting a video right here because it has extremely easy access to my mineral water. This stuff is a beast. Now we're ready to work on carburetors, or at least explain it. All right, so we're first going to talk about the billet base plate that comes with this guy. Now, I have my redneck or poor man's engine evac, so I do not use a PVC on this.
What the hell is that?
That's my electric evac pump. It's the poor man's crankcase evac.
You got like a hummingbird feeder in there.
Oh yeah, it's a smog pump off of like a Camaro and those other vehicles. Anyways, this guy right here that I pulled out, all it does is get in the way of your rear jet on your nitrous. And it's such a pain in the butt. If that's not there, it's so much easier to get to it. Let me show you on the S10 real quick. Well, hello, darling. I'm gonna talk about you real quick. So if we look back here and paint in the dick territory, you can see right here, it's red, but these will work for whatever. Usually they're blue. But look right here, this is my nitrous line. And right above that, you can see is the vacuum port, which makes it extremely difficult to get a wrench on there and change nitrous jets. So what I'm doing is eliminating that because I do not use it. So basically all I did to modify this, I used a little forceful persuasion, yanked it out of there, then I tapped that out, and then I put I think it was I forget what it was, but there's a bolt right there that is cut off. Put a little slit in there so I can screw it in. It goes all the way in right there, and then I used a JB weld on the threads to make sure that it will not leak. And now I can get to my nitrous jets so much easier than this piece of garbage right here being in the way. All right, so on my Facebook, I had a couple of guys talk about the transfer slots on these guys right here. Transfer slots, this little small guy right there. And they said that they're reporting that on the quick fuel, which is basically what Holly bought. The Brawler carburetor basically is a quick fuel unit. So look right there, see? Quick fuel technology, patent pending. So basically all this is quick fuel because Holly bought them, and they're saying the transfer slots were too large and they would cause a bog or whatever, and they wanted me to see what I thought about them. So right here I have a regular Holly. This is my old Holly. This is an 830 CFM Holly. I never had a problem with the transfer slots on this guy. So we're going to compare the transfer slots here on the Holly, which look at this, is nice. It doesn't have any of those stupid vacuum ports, as opposed to the 950 right here. So I already have it measured out. Come on, camera. Camera, don't be a dick. There we go. 170 thousandths is basically where the transfer slot is. Let's get a close up. And as you see, that's pretty much at the bottom of the transfer slot. So let's go to the Holley real quick. The Holley's one is definitely slightly deeper. I couldn't get the butterflies to close enough to actually show it without the butterflies being closed. That makes it really difficult to show you guys. But if you can see in there, you can see that the Holley definitely has a slightly deeper transfer slot. So we're just going to head and debunk that with the Brawler carburetors. I'm not sure if Holley actually fixed it, but that's what I'm getting right here. So one more modification I did to this base plate right here, besides removing the rear vacuum port, is I took the cam mechanism right here, I forget what that's called, off the Holley. Because the one that they give you with this big ass little thing right here, it makes it easier to adjust the rear. Because if you don't have this right here, you have to go in from the bottom of it and you adjust the idle on the rear, on the secondaries right here. But I need this guy right here, and I'll show you why. So if I had that big old screw coming up to adjust the idle on the secondaries, it would get in the way of my nitrous activation switch. So I use this guy right here, and I also, on all these main bodies, this is actually an identical quick fuel one, but it's just labeled on this side as Proform. But I use these guys right here, these holes, and I modified this Edelbrock little plate right here that attaches your micro switch, and I use that as my activation for my nitrous. So here is the quality control issue that I had with these carburetors, and this is why I decided to take it apart, because I knew there was going to be something like this right here. All these little shavings, these shavings came out of the boosters, the down leg boosters, and some of those shavings came out of the bowls in here. So some of you guys are wondering, see right up in here, it was just from the casting. They just didn't do a good job of getting it all out. So in there, let's get it focus. So what I did was painstakingly go through every single orifice in this guy and clean out all that crap that was on the castings, because they did not do a good job of cleaning that out. And I have a couple pictures right here of these guys. Honestly, guys, at first I wasn't going to make this video, but so who takes a brand new carburetor, like right here, and decides to tear it apart? Well, you start looking at your boosters, you see things like this, these little things hanging out there, or things like this, or things like this. See all that crap? You kind of get concerned, I really don't want, all this stuff getting away the fuel or going out into the motor. What's going on here? So basically, I took this guy right here and did this to it. I don't know what you guys think's better, this or this. Maybe that's not a big deal, but that's stuff that just came out these boosters after I polished them. See what I'm saying right here? And let's go right here. This is the bottom. This is after all this is polished and moved out the way, because it used to look like this, right? And then looking down, got a nice little feather right here. And that was my main reason for doing this video, because I saw a bunch of little things that just kind of irked me. And this is where being OCD definitely kind of helped. So the way I did this, I kind of took a little thinking, and I figured out the best way to do this, but you still got to be very careful. Let me show you my procedure. Using a shoelace to go through the booster and out right there, I use valve grinding compound, put it on the shoelace, draw it through, and very carefully, evenly went around the entire circumference of the booster. I did it this way, and then I flipped it over, ran the shoelace through the booster to the top, and I did it this way too. And just be real careful when you're doing this. Make sure you clean it out really good. And it did a really nice job in here of just smoothing the radius all around that and getting all that crap that was down there out of these guys right here. Now, I know you guys are gonna see this and say, oh, Brawler's a piece of crap. You should go with like, you know, a custom carburetor from a custom shop. If you have the money for that, and if you don't have the know-how to really look at all this stuff and put it together, then definitely go with a custom shop. Or you can just go and get the more expensive Holleys. I can't say how the quality control is on those as opposed to this guy right here, but I can only speak from what I'm seeing on this unit that I purchased. I'm not saying all of them are bad like this, that have issues with shit coming out the boosters, but on mine, I can only report what I'm seeing right here. And one more thing, hold on. Now, what I'm gonna do next, I'm waiting for a rebuild kit because obviously the gasket on here is crushed. I thought I had a gasket, but this is for a 850, so the circle isn't big enough. And I'm also going to upgrade the accelerator pumps to 50cc accelerator pumps. And I know a lot of guys say, oh, you don't need 50cc accelerator pumps, blah, 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 blah. You do not need to use that 50cc pump to its fullest. I take the cams right here and I shave them down to work with my motor. And the jets are one thing. You read jets for your quarter-mile pull top end when you're on a full load and you're hauling, but your accelerator pumps, your discharge nozzles, all that stuff, they're done when you're full throttle. It's that, you know, full throttle hit when the transition from your power valves and all the other stuff happens. That is the very tricky part about tuning the carburetor. And what I'm gonna do with this for the 400 cubic inch small block Chevy, I'm gonna take this guy, when I get the rebuild kit tomorrow, I'll make another video of putting this whole thing together right here. And then we're gonna take this, pull off the 750 and put this on the L21. And the reason why I'm gonna put this on the L21 and get it, you know, kind of semi set up, I'm not gonna go out and do rips in it and see how a 950 works and tune it for the L21 because it's only 357 cubic inches as opposed to a 400 cubic inch small block. It'd be a waste of time. But what I want this guy to start up, idle good, so I don't have to, like, you know, sit there and tweak it on a brand new motor. The last thing you wanna do is to set floats, your idle, you know, your mixture and all that on a brand new motor because it's just not good for your motor. You want that motor to start up and you want to put a load on it right away. So we're going to get this guy set up when I get the rebuild kit, put it on the L21, and I'm going to show you guys how I adjust the floats and all that. Like I say, if you want to see how long I've been doing this, go back in my videos. I have a Holley Dark Arts video of tuning the Holley 4150, and that's when I was kind of green around the ears, but I was starting to get a little bit of knowledge about carburetors. But with that said, hope you guys like this video, and until next time, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys there. I got more videos coming, man, and I'm gonna drink beer.